Hey guys, and welcome back to Pokemon Sun. We have entered the Totem's Den, so it is time to begin the third trial, Kiawe's Fiery Dance-Off.
This trial is... what's a nice word for stupid?
Odd?
No, I think I'll go with stupid, actually, now that I think about it. It's just like with all the trials, it's admittedly rather short and truncated when you think about it. But basically what you have to do is... his Pokemon will dance about, and you have to spot the difference, basically, thus turning it into this weird kind of mobile phone game app that they would put on the Google Play Store. You know those kind of games?
I would refer to it more as a minigame rather than that cynical take on things, to be honest.
Hey, trust me, they'll take any sort of minigame and try to make a phone app out of it, but you basically have to guess the difference, and then you end up fighting that guy. And then at the end, you'll end up fighting the Totem Pokemon as a result.
Oh yeah, I would not take the Totem here lightly. It can pack a punch.
Yeah, I'll talk more about that when we get to that.
Let's see, can you spot the difference? Oh, it's sassy, it's fabulous.
I gotta say, I am loving the use of Alolan Marowak in this. I actually really like this design. Like, it's got the cool, dark colors, it's got the bitchin' kind of... its bones are on green fire. That's just awesome, in my opinion.
It's gone from being just a plain ground type to fire and ghost. A little bit of a callback to Gen 1, perhaps, with, the Marowak mother in Lavender Tower.
Yeah, they had this weird fascination with killing Marowak for some reason. I never got that.
Alolan Marowak is probably one of my favourites, if just for the fact that it's a fire dancer, like a traditional thing in Hawaii. You've seen Lilo and Stitch, I presume. You know what David did in that movie. You all know.
Yeah, fire dancing, you've seen movies.
Yeah, okay. Ow, that was mildly annoying.
That seemed a little, I was expecting him to fling, the flaming bone club, and then just the little bone comes up completely separate and just bops him on the face.
Yeah. Do you remember that episode of the anime where they had that dude with the Marowak who was trying to steal badges and whatnot, and we actually got to see different badges than the ones Ash was collecting? I always loved that concept.
I don't remember that episode, actually. How early was this in the anime?
This was in the Indigo League arc. It was right before, actually.
Oh, okay, alright. It's just, I really do not recall that episode at all. The only one I remember is, the guy with the unofficial gym, and he had, his, Sand Slash. And, he had to kick the shit out of, 100 people or something like that.
Oh, not Sand Slash, Sand Shrew, mate.
Okay, well, sand something. Something or other.
Speaking of sand, gotta dust him off here.
I don't know how to get rid of this myself. I'm all hooves, as you can tell.
Yeah, I'm all fingers and thumbs.
But you don't have either of those.
Oh, Jesus. It's weird how he has, goat eyes. I just noticed this by watching other playthroughs and whatnot. But he doesn't have, anime eyes at all, so he's kind of just like a realistic donkey in a Pokemon's world.
Yeah, back in that awkward phase where they had, realistic animals next to the Pokemon, he's just like a donkey that just kind of snuck in somehow, and everybody started treating him like a Pokemon, so he's like, okay.
Yeah. Alright, I'm ready for your dance, Kiawe, bring it on.
I am ready for so much more JoJo posing, you have no idea.
Okay, I've memorized it, I've taken it into my mind's eye.
I now know the contours of Alolan Marowak's ass, thank you.
And the difference is...
photobombing! You ass!
Yep, it's the hiker, obviously.
Show me again. I'm not quite sure. Masaka!
Bakana! Nani! Here comes hiker!
Yeah, he's so surprised, I'm like, dude, come on. Suddenly, the totem hiker comes in and it buffs his defense. Hello, I'm messing up all of your photo opportunities since 2007.
Good old butt duck, Magmar itself.
I'm not a big fan of Magmar, but I did like his Pokemon card, back in, the original release of the game. It was a pretty good fire Pokemon, I thought, to fill out the team, except his HP was a little bit low, so I'd like to back him up with Charmeleon.
My defense is ever growing stronger.
Actually, that Magmar tag reminds me of when I bought my first ever deck of, collectible cards. It was, what was it? It was like, it was in the Fossil expansion, which was the second expansion to the game.
Uh-huh.
And it had like a weird muck, it had a weird Magmar, it was like poison fighting kind of thing. I don't know. It wasn't a good deck, not my favorite, but I think it was the only one I could get at the time.
I enjoy nostalgia time with Hell Dragon. I get to live vicariously through areas of like the franchise that I admittedly had a lot of access to, but not a lot of experience with.
Well, I mean, to be fair, at the time, like, I wasn't really able to kind of build a steady collection. I didn't really have anybody to play with, admittedly. Man, you should have seen me try to compete with my friend during Yu-Gi-Oh! That was a brutal time. Because you have to remember, this was back when money made the difference more than actual deck building, you know?
True, true. Goodbye, Magmar. See you in Gen 8, I guess.
I am stomping mad that Magmar gets a slot on this team. Care for the hiker, he's very traumatized. We'll just have to say it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay.
I'll never photobomb again. Sure you will.
Oh, Ixtok. I'll hack a hoe.
These people I somehow remember. I don't know, it's not a vital throw. I say we can get rid of it.
Space 70. Nice, nice. I think we'll replace this, or have something... You know what I mean.
You can touch them, or you can throw them really hard. It's your choice.
Well, I'd rather have higher attack power than, like, the slight possibility of paralysis.
But the backside is that... The bad side of that... I don't know why I said backside. The drawback, that's what I was going for. I'm sorry. The drawback is that you attack last when you did. That's why I didn't keep it myself.
Fair enough. I just figured, like, my Mako Heater was tanky enough to be able to take a hit and keep on licking. Alright, the final dance.
And I have to say, the result of this final dance was actually... I kind of expected it, but at the same time, you know, I liked it. This guy again? Where... Can you go home? We're doing something here.
No, I'm part of the trial.
And at this point, yeah, you can kind of see where this is going.
This was actually sort of intimidating, because not the friendliest looking Pokemon is Salazzle.
The hiker. The hiker is intimidating. Not Masaka! Volcano!
All of them. Here it comes, the Totem Pokemon.
Hello!
Oh boy, I hope you've got water or ground types handy, because this is going to be a bit of a clusterfuck, at least for me.
Totem Salazzle kicked the fucking shit out of me. And it really wasn't because of the Totem Pokemon, no. It was actually the ally that Salazzle can summon, namely a male Sandalette, because as you know, they have a reverse harem, and that's why 2016 is one of the worst years ever. The thing is about that is that, of course, these two Pokemon will supplement each other. Sandalette has a move called Venoshock, which I had never really knew what that did. Supposedly, it does more damage to when the enemy is poisoned. I wouldn't know, because this Venoshock blasted the shit out of all my Pokemon, like one shot. I have no idea why it was so damn powerful. I wasn't taking any weaknesses or things like that. Maybe my guys just sucked. I don't know. But I struggled immensely hard with this fight because I was trying so hard to take out the Totem Salazzle, which I didn't really think was a good strategy, now that I recall upon that. And meanwhile, this Sandalette was blasting the shit out of everybody, making me desperately heal, trying to get everything together. And I didn't have access to ground or water type attacks, so I could not take type advantage into this battle. As a result, this is probably the hardest trial out of this island. Possibly the hardest trial I have faced so far. Again, it may get worse down the line. I'm thoroughly anticipating it personally.
Well, what made this particular version of the fight tricky for me is you don't get healed from those previous fights, so I basically had to sacrifice a few Pokemon just to be able to set up, you know, Stoleon correctly, because once ground gets kicking, they will all take a really big pounding, and I wouldn't bet big money on the Sandalette lasting more than 2 turns, to be honest.
Also, the Salazzle has Flame Burst, which is, of course, fantastic if you picked Rowlet, which I think was a Dartrix at this particular point. So yeah, I couldn't rely on that much either, so man, this thing was an arduous grind.
And you'll notice that its Totem Aura is actually boosting its special defense. So if you do decide to go with Water, even then you might have a little bit of like trouble taking it out in one hit or so. That's why I decided to go the physical route with Storeon instead.
And even then, you gotta hit them hard and fast, otherwise they'll just mess your shit right up, man.
Yeah, I had problems with the Sandalette as well, because it was a sneaky little fucker, like its mama over there, in more ways than one, was giving it all this with Flame Burst, and it sneaks in with Venoshock, like you said, but, you know, I've got the stamina going on. Even then, it won't protect me from more than, like, 2 hits at once, so, sadly, I did have to sacrifice a few Pokemon to make it through this trial. I know I'm a terrible trader, I'm doing what I can, okay?
I don't know, that was a pretty good hit back there, though. I mean, you killed the ally, and the Salazzle took a ton of damage. That's definitely better than the track record I was having during this fight.
Well, don't forget, it's not just, like, fire. It's poison and fire, and poison is weak to ground, so, you know.
That's true, but I didn't have any ground attacks, and for the life of me, I'm sitting there doing this, and I didn't have access to a computer at a time, and I'm sitting here trying to remember, what the fuck is poison weak to? I don't remember, so I'm just throwing shit out there, hoping it works, not doing very well, oi.
Yeah, fucking miracles, etc. Alright, X-Talk, you can start pulling your weight here, mate.
That is pretty fast that the Salazzle actually summoned another ally, because, you know, I was fighting a Totem later on, and he took a good long while to summon another ally after I killed there, so I guess it really depends on the Totem. Maybe it's just RNG, I don't know.
Oh, come on, don't take me out with Scratch, that's embarrassing.
Oh man, I don't even know how you scratch like a Grimer to death. You would think like the claws would just kind of move through the muck and not even do anything.
Oh, Sparkster, you helped us out in the water trial, mate, but now you're just fodder. Fodder for the horror Pokemon.
I have an idea. Why don't we take this Salandit and just like spin him around like a flail and then throw it at the Salazzle? I mean, that would be a pretty good team-up attack.
Poison against poison, mate. You really don't know your type matchups, do you?
Well, I don't know. If you're flinging somebody physically, that's more of a normal attack, isn't it?
Well, if it's like a physical attack and you're like throwing it at them, it would probably become fighting type, you know?
I'm gonna guess that taunt is like a thing that makes somebody target one particular Pokemon in like, you know, a multi-Pokemon battle. But the problem is every time I encounter taunt, it's usually a one-on-one fight. So yeah, I'm gonna attack you anyway, dude.
Taunt is a non-damaging Dark-type move introduced in Generation 3. It has been TM12 since Generation 3. The target is taunted into a rage that allows it to only use attack moves for 3 turns.
Shit, most of my movesets are attack moves. It doesn't really change anything.
Oh, I fell for the taunt, but it did nothing. None of this matters. None of it.
Man, I don't even care if I'm poisoned. I'm just gonna kick the shit out of you with my huge Earthquake attack.
Oh yeah, my quaking donkey.
If only a donkey in Shrek was able to do that, he might have been a little bit more impressive.
Well, you know, he ends up banging a dragon, so fairy tales.
I don't really know if I want Mudbray to bang the Salazzle, alright? I just don't think that's how it should go.
Well, Salazzle's based on a salamander, so...
Reverse harem. Ugh.
Double kill? Not bad, not bad. Millions had to die, nay, billions, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, like I said, you did this a lot better than I did, man. I was just like, you know, just struggled so hard on it. Although these days I've, you know, taken to actually killing the ally a lot faster than actually killing the Totem. So, we'll see how the rest of the Totem fights go for me.
Well, in Moon, this Totem battle was particularly tricky for me, because, you know, you start as a grass type, and I don't know about you, mate, but I focus on my starter way too much. I give him loves, I give him sweets and treaties, while the others are dying of starvation over there, having nary a bean between them.
You notice if you don't go into, like, Pokemon Refresh for a while, the icon will, like, move back and forth in the menu. At one point, I had moved that icon to, like, you know, the first page of my menu screen, and it would just flick back and forth all forever. I'd go in there, I'd pet everybody, I'd give everybody beans, I'd go out, the thing's still moving. What the hell do you guys want? I don't have any toys, jeez.
Oh, just take us out the box every once in a while, that's all we're asking for. That's what the Pelago is for, deal with it.
I don't care, Magnemite. You haven't done anything, so I don't think you need a reward.
Also, aren't you like a robot? The Pokedex was never really specific about that.
No, it is like steel, electric. I'm gonna say Magnemite is probably the closest thing we have to a robot, yeah.
So all in all, when everything's said and done, how did you find Kiawe's trial, mate?
Just, wow, that was like really hard for me. And then conversely, the next trial was actually pretty easy. Like I cleared it first try. There's a little difficulty here and there, but nowhere near as bad as this whole Totem Salazzle thing. So I guess I just suck, which I'm not denying.
Possibly. Oh yeah, that's my signature Z crystal right there. It's my brand, and I will cherish it!
I don't think I've... no, I've used this a few times, actually, like, especially to take care of another totem and his ally down the line. But other than that, I haven't used the fire one nearly as much as the fighting one, which I think is my most used Z move.
Oh, epic JoJo reference, etc. Alright, Kiawe, show us how this bad boy works. Talk to the hand.
4 trainers. Don't do that thing that Kuki does. Don't mind us, we're just banning some flies over here, and then they just vanish like ghosts, I guess.
Well, they are ghosts, Helldragon.
That's true.
I like quick balls. Because, you know, I like to get everything done at the start of a battle, and that's what quick balls are for. You basically throw them at the start, and they have a higher chance of working than at the end of it. You want timer balls for the end of a battle.
But the big reward is that now we finally have access to Charizard, which lets us fly to anywhere we previously been. And you know, in the past, you would have had to wait till like fucking City 5, City 6 to get access to this kind of thing. But now, this is just a lot more convenient. You can actually get fly as a normal TM. A bit in another area where it's from somebody who was actually in Johto, who they're like, oh well, in Johto this move is really big, but I'm not allowed to like fly around here like without using like a ride pager, which I didn't really get because I wouldn't really think that like the local islands would have some sort of police system that's like, okay, you can't fly your Pokemon around here without a pager. That just makes no sense to me.
I've got to laugh that Charizard is the one they chose to be the fly representative in the ride pager. I know people complain about Gen 1 being, you know, overplayed these days, and Charizard kind of being cliched in terms of like Gen 1 picks. It could have easily been like a Pidgeot, or shit, Toucan, flying us around with the strength of its anger.
No, clearly it should have been a Pidgey, so we could just surf on it, you know, flying everywhere.
Ah, indeed. Oh, I see you there, Zygarde Core.
Oh, I done missed this side, actually. I just left. Like, I really should have gone down here and gotten that Zygarde. I'll have to go back.
Don't touch the red stuff, kids. Your arm will explode.
Yeah, unless you're Albert Wesker, in which case you'll somehow survive for a little bit to shout, Crash!
Wesker!
Man, DC Douglas's Wesker, like, Resident Evil 5 was the first Resident Evil game I ever played, and oh my god, his Wesker devours the scenery like a majestic beluga whale. It's amazing.
Oh, your man crush on Wesker's VA will never not be funny, mate. Okay, let's make it down the man zone.
Hello, I'm just sitting here stewing in my own juices.
Okay, I'm pretty sure like every sister will say the same thing at this point.
Every sister is also the third strongest.
Make of that what you will.
Okay, you're just clearly walking inside like an active volcano. I don't know if that was a good idea. You should have, like, partially melted.
You see what I mean, though, about there being, like, less cave puzzles and whatnot? Like, in prior games, you would have, like, gone through, like, some block puzzles and whatnot to reach the top of the mountain. Hey, you just go in one door and out the other.
Hey, man, I'm all for that, because back in the day, like, you know, they would stretch it out so much with those damn caves, you had to push it everywhere, and you were dealing with random encounters from Zubats and all that crap. I'm glad that's gone, personally, and just lets me get to the point.
Our first appearance of the Alolan Ace Trainer. What do you think of his design?
I actually really like the Ace Trainer designs. The male Ace Trainer looks pretty good. The girl Ace Trainer looks really nice. I like their clothing. I like their color scheme. It's just a good design all around.
Alright, we're gonna bite this Kadabra. It tastes... I'm gonna have to leave a taste test kind of thing. You know, one of those questionnaires they give out at restaurants. Did you like the food? Yes, it allows me to live. 10 out of 10.
I want to see one of those when you go to the Malsada restaurant and Hal's just like, yes, all over every single thing in like huge capital letters.
Should I let Helltigray learn Bite? I mean, it is eventually going to become part dog. I guess I'll get rid of Growl, and I don't know how this bodes for Ixtok. Maybe he won't be with us for all that much longer. Pity.
Well, he needed the dark type coverage anyway, and Growl wasn't exactly pulling its weight, you know?
graceful in losing, or loss if you will. That's the ace trainers for you.
Actually, back there was that reference to blacking out, which, happens when you lose all your Pokemon in battle. And in the past games, they say something like, oh, well, you blacked out, and then you just reappear at the Pokemon Center with half of your money gone. But I actually like what they do in this generation where, or maybe they did in the last one, I don't quite remember, where they're basically, they give you this very sobby little kind of story where you go back to the nearest Pokemon Center, but you're carrying all of your fainted Pokemon with you, and you're trying to protect them, and you just feel like total shit for completely failing your guys, man. I feel bad when I read that.
Well, it just ties into the theme of, man and beast coexisting as one in the hideous realm that is nature. And, Sun and Moon, they have a lot of those types of themes going on. Now, you might think I'm sticking around to take care of 2 Cubones. You'd be wrong. And, Cubone is not the only ally that Cubones can call in. Oh no, you can also look forward to taking on Kangaskharns from time to time.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I thought that was a great way to tie that lore together. Also, I completely missed this TM, and I think if I have a Pokemon that can learn Rock Tomb, I'll probably go back and teach it to them.
Will you by any chance be naming it Caesar?
Well, it's definitely possible. Well, no, I can't, because I have decided to name all of my main Pokemon after video games. I've actually caught a Kangaskhan in this area, and supposedly the odds for doing that is very low, so I actually looked out there, and of course, I had to name it after the video game series, Mother. Of course, thank you very much.
There you go. I believe you could also find wild, level 1 or 5 Salamancers, because Bagon can, it has a small possibility of calling one in as an ally, but that possibility still exists.
What, level 5 Salamanders? That's like an awkward puberty for that Pokemon, don't you think? He just kind of, at 6th grade, he's just a Salamence, and everybody else is still, tiny compared to him, and he feels so awkward. He's got the beard coming in,
Yeah, pretty much. I am not going to get 100,000 thumbs up throughout the course of this playthrough. Stop having a laugh, Rotom.
And I actually want to report that I have now caught a female Salandit, thanks to a guy on Twitter, Michael Afroman. He actually traded me a male Sylveon with an ability that allows you to attract a female Pokemon. So thank you again for the help. And but of course, I got her at level 13 or something like that, and my other guys are level 30 plus. So I gotta train them up for a while. I have named it, of course, Bioshock, which I thought was very appropriate.
Yeah, you're just in love with your own nicknames, your own brand, aren't you, mate?
Hey man, I have been in love with my brand for all of these years, and I think it's particularly good this year.
You remember Rockin' Roller? It's a Gen 5 Pokemon.
Oh, well, that's probably why I don't fucking remember it that well.
That thing on its belly is actually not an eye, it's an ear, according to the Pokédex.
Wait, that's an ear? And he just shot mud from that ear, so I guess he's firing deadly earwax?
I guess so.
What does it evolve to? That evolves into, that pointy, 3-footed motherfucker, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, the one we saw in Pokepark 2, I believe. Let me look it up. I think one of its evolutions is Rockin' Roller, or is that this Pokemon? Yeah, sorry, I'm bopping between Wikipedia, Bulbapedia, and Media Player Classic here, so you'll have to forgive my slight confusion. Rockin' Roller. Pokemon. Oh, thank you, Bulbapedia. I would have known.
Oh, that's good.
Evolves into Boldore at level 25, which evolves into Gigalith when traded.
Yeah, Gigalith. That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it has 4 legs, though. I don't blame you for not being able to count the number of legs, because it does look like a massive pile of gems, basically.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're not really concerned about aesthetics when you're just hauling around, slags of rock Pokemon.
Alright, let's get some bird action in here.
Yeah, ever try to punch a bird? Does not quite work out that well, so Machop is going to learn that the hard way, especially if he tries to low kick that thing. I don't think that's going to fly. Aha! Fly. There you go. Did they ever tell us what the hell the ridges are on top of a Machop's head, in the evolutions? Does that do anything?
I'm not entirely sure. Let me type that into Google and see if there's an answer. Machop's ridges. There are 3 brown ridges on top of its head, and it has large red eyes and a relatively flat face. No, that's about it.
Ah, well, okay, I guess it's just a fashion statement for hair, you know, whatever a Machop has for hair, basically.
This is why I came down this way.
Ah, well, it's good thing you got a burn heal, considering the fact you're walking down an active volcano in nothing but your sneakers and shorts. Your skin should have, like, caught on fire by now.
Well, it should have, but we're also living in a world where, you know, wild creatures can control the weather and so on, so I don't think physics really apply here.